husband apart, but that's okay. It was part of the story. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I came late. What was the name of your book? And your
It's
name
my my 3 lumps. My mom actually came up with that. She was talking. I had stage 1B infiltrating ductal carcinoma. I had DCIS, and I had an ex-husband that was 6'5". So she said that I just had to get rid of my lumps, and I would be better. That's clever, Mom. I like that. I'm gonna remember that. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna use that. It actually came to be a book.
And your name is?
Gwen Roche Anderson.
I'm sorry.
Gwen Roche Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't put a name tag on it, but. Oh, and Gail. Gail's my aunt. Gail Roche is my aunt. So, yeah.
Does breast cancer run in your family?
You know, no. And that's why I call myself lucky. Because I was just the one that kind of just caught it. My maternal grandmother had it when she was 58, but somehow, and I'm not quite sure how, the doctors lost her sample going from surgery to pathology, so they were never able to figure out what type or what kind she had. But my oncologist said because there was a 30-year age difference between us, and because I was so young, there was essentially no way that it could have been linked. So I am hoping that I literally took the breast cancer for the team and that my sisters are okay, because genetically there's nothing.
Are they your sisters younger then, and do
I
they get
have
tested?
3 older sisters and 5 younger sisters. They range from ages 43 to 24.
Have they been tested then too, and
You know,
more careful though?
their OBs were very, some of them were ready to send them off to mammograms the second I was diagnosed, because they now have cancer directly in immediate family.
Yeah.
But I have to keep saying, my oncologist has assured me, and we have done the genetic test, that nobody is at an increased risk. I can't help but even if I were on the outside, well, I would be a little more aggressive, saying, you know what, I just want to be checked out. Just a little more awareness.
Yeah.
And I have known of a lot of younger ladies that have said, I know something's wrong, and they've been turned away. So I just wanted my sisters to be aware that, when you're not at risk, that you should still be checking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And typically
agree.
that's how it is, if the individual is checked and if there isn't any genetic mutation, the other families do not need to.
Do not,
My
okay.
mom and grandma were gonna be the next in line before everything. They were ready to go in, but didn't need to. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Do you live in St. Cloud now?
I do. I actually moved back to St. Cloud after I got pregnant and said, I'd like to be a little closer to my now husband. And I just started looking for a job around here as opposed to looking in the cities when I was cut from my district again. From Anoka-Hennepin. So I just looked up here, and I'm actually teaching in Macquarie. And I live a mile and a half from here, and I don't know which direction, but it's just literally like a mile from here. So this would have been off. I hopefully will never ever need it, but it's really convenient, just in case. Just in case, but I'll never need it.
I'm reading your book right now.
Yay! Awesome!
So
Yay!
I read it.
Makes me feel good. And it still shocks me. Yay, that's me. It still shocks me that people even want to read it, because
Well, actually, I
wants to
didn't
marry
know
us?
anything about it, but my niece, Rebecca Lar, I don't know. if you-
yeah.
Yeah. She lives out in Montana, and she's the one that sent this to
Oh
me
my
for
gosh.
my birthday. Yeah.
Yay.
So how do the
It's
rest of us
taken me
get?
a while to, I'm about 3/4 done now.
Oh, she has some, okay.
Yeah.
Did you bring any?
I feel so stinking. I did bring some just in case anybody was interested, and I'm not here as a sales pitch. I just needed to get it off my chest without wine in my system this time. That's what I did the first time, and it didn't go so well. I literally cried the whole time. At least this time I was able to suck it up a little bit. So it feels good to be in a group of ladies who know what I'm going through, and it's not having to explain every detail, but you get it. So,
Do you have that genetic testing done here?
no, that was also through Mercy.
What does
My-
that involve? Like just a blood test?
Just a
or
blood
what do they
test.
do?
Yep, just a blood test. They took 1 billion vials of blood and they sent them off to myriad testing, and they sent, yep. They took a myriad of blood vials and then sent it off to myriad for them to check it out. But it's all it was a blood test. I was afraid that they would have to take some tissue samples or something, but really it wasn't as bad as I thought. Because I had a port, my badge of courage. I had my port, so there's like, oh, needles coming in and out of here constantly. I'm like, just keep going, you know, and I'm already hooked up, just take the blood. So.
And you did a great job speaking. I hope I got the recording of it.
Oh, that's okay, you didn't.
I think
Oh,
I
I
saved it, I'm
couldn't
not
do it.
sure.
It's hard,
Oh.
it's still hard, and I think that, I didn't wanna talk about it after I was first diagnosed. My friends and family knew what was going on, and I had a Caring Bridge site, and I was very, very positive on my Caring Bridge site. So it would probably be really easy for people just to read those and say, wow, that was pretty easy, cancer's not that bad. But then there was the other half, which was my journal, and I was honest, there were days that just sucked. And I had 7 or 8 side effects at once with bloody noses, and my head hurt, and I was nauseous, and my fingernails started cracking. I mean, it was just, ugh. I was way more honest in that part of it.
That's good though,
So,
I think.
But it was nice to have the balance.
It's probably tough for people to read it, but it's probably good that they know too, you know, that you didn't hide anything. I went through a divorce and cancer, but not at the same time, so I can't imagine. Oh,
You know, and
but it does make you stronger.
it sure does. And I
Yeah.
just, I'm grateful that I
Yeah.
went through both at the same time, because I can't imagine if he had decided to stay, knowing now that how unhappy he was, if he had tried to stay, I would have spent all of my energy trying to make my marriage work and trying to be a better wife and try to do this and try to do that. I'm just glad he left, because it broke me down to literally nothing. And then, but I had myself to focus on, and I had nobody but positives around me.
Yeah,
My friends and my family, I never heard negative comments, because everybody was so helpful and encouraging that I'm glad that he left. Because then I didn't have that to deal with.
right.
So I have not spoken to him since we got all the paperwork in order. I tried telling him off a year later, but I didn't go so hot. Not that would help, but it sure did. It just made me feel worse. I haven't talked to him since then, and I don't want him or his family to think that I'm trying to write this to get back at him, or I know that he was not a huge fan of the idea of me publishing the book, but it was my healing process, and my thoughts, and I know that he doesn't like what I had to say, but that's what I had to say. So I was just honest.
Yeah.
He can write his own book.
That's what if I ever had to talk to him again, like, you know what, I would encourage him to, because it would actually be interesting to see
Sure.
his side of it, because
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it. After he left, I'm like, I'm done worrying about you. As painful as that was, I had to shut myself off and move on, and I did my best. So if, go ahead. But I hope they'll never have to take this case. So. Yes.
What type and stage of cancer did you have?
I had infiltrating ductal carcinoma 1B, and then DCIS apparently very,
What's that?
ductal carcinoma in situ, precancer, stage 0.
So it's cancer cells within the milk ducts, but had spread outside of the milk ducts
Okay.
from that part of it. And it must have been HER2 positive, otherwise you
Yep.
wouldn't have been on Herceptin.
Yep.
So.
And I was also very weakly estrogen receptor positive. They wanted me on tamoxifen for 5 years. After about a year of it, I just asked my oncologist, if it's really not helping, if it's just weakly toxic, do I have to keep taking these pills? Because I was just so eager to be done. And he thought it over, he's like, you know, that would probably be okay. And I'm really grateful now that I went off on what I did, because then I got pregnant a couple months later, so
Oh,
I'm really glad that those are out of my system. So apparently my body just knew that something was a-coming, and I went off on when they knew it, and when it knew I needed to.
wow.
Yeah.
Did any of it spread to lymph nodes?
No, they just tested the sentinel and I was clear. I was very, very lucky. They caught it so early. It was the size of a pea. It was very, grade 3. Had I been grade 2, I could have skipped chemo.
No,
But-
no.
No, but I'm like,
No,
so
that's-
close.
you know what,
But
that's not
it's-
true.
It's,
not
oh,
true.
that's what they told me.
No. You had a HER2 positive, you needed chemo along with
Okay.
Herceptin, so you did the right thing.
Okay, well then that's good. You know, but I would have done radiation because my radiation oncologist was really cute. So I was like, hey, Dr. Olympics and was wearing a ring. Like, not that I would, you know, and then I didn't have to go to radiation, which was probably good because I would have had to avert his eyes every time I went in there. He would have been fun to look at for several weeks.
That's why I tell women, it's like, find good-looking doctors, it makes it easier.
You know, he
just
would
got-
have
Yeah.
but, you know, that's okay. I don't mind not having the radiation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And a good support group and lots of laughter
yeah.
and prayers.
And this is what I needed because it's so easy to fall into that woe is me. And I did.
Yeah.
But I also think you need to do that because otherwise you can't move on if you don't fully let yourself feel. If I had just said, it's fine, and just a little smile on my face
Yeah.
and just not dealt with anything, I would have jumped off a bridge because it would have been, there was so much I would have been suppressing. I just let it go. But I also think that positive people couldn't have been a better thing for me. When I went back to teaching, everybody's so darn negative. The teacher's lounge was just toxic, and I just, what is wrong with you people? It's not cancer. And I don't know, I never said that to them, but it's like, I couldn't understand why everybody was so upset about kid who didn't turn in his homework for the third time. Do you know why he's not turning in his homework? There's a story behind everything. Think about it. Before you let it consume you, think about it. And it was a really hard transition. I couldn't understand why I was getting so cranky all the time when I went back, but it was because of my coworkers. So I just learned to avoid certain people and surround myself with the ones that I could and just, you know, find my own sources of happiness.
Yeah. Exactly.
Are you still on Herceptin?
Nope, I finished the year of that, oh goodness, October 2009, I graduated. Dates are finally now getting fuzzy, which is awesome. I still have the dates of my surgeries ingrained in my head, but the dates of all my chemos and whatnot are finally getting fuzzy, which is awesome.
Don't you love that?
It is nice to not know, I have
never
everything.
asked
Oh yes, on page
people.
25, you'll see that I da-da-da-da-da.
Great.
It's nice.
I remember asking people, and they couldn't remember. I'm like, how could you not remember? And now I'm
Best
there.
feeling.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. It is, I had the year of that, and I decided to take out my port after they did my last surgery, so I had the last few in my arm instead of my port, and it was actually another fun. I broke my wrist rollerblading that summer too. Never ask what's next because then you end up in the surgery again and you break your wrist. So then I ended up having to put it in like my upper arm, and then for my surgery on my wrist because they couldn't use the side they had lymph nodes taken from, and they couldn't use this one because they were operating on it. They had to put it in my ankle.
Oh
Which you
my.
never ever want it in the top of your foot because I was about ready to say I don't care if anything goes wrong, if something pops, I can't handle that pain anymore. But never ask what's next. There's always something, and I will never roll away again.
When were you diagnosed again?
July 9th, 2008,
Okay.
the day after my 28th birthday.
Happy birthday, huh?
You know, the day birthday itself wasn't so bad because I just biopsied and, you know, it was, you know,
Yeah.
no big deal yet. I went out with my family and it was a pretty good time. Got some fried ice cream in the Mexican village in town, so. Pretty good birthday, all things considered. I've had a really good one since.
Oh, that's good.
And I'll celebrate my 5 years cancer-free, September 11th,
All
2013.
right.
So I'm weeks away from hitting my 5-year mark.
Yay! Woohoo!
Just gonna get that far.
Hey, we got a nice big group, so let's hear from everybody else. Yes, Linnell, you wanna start? Is that okay?
Sure.
We kinda go down.
How do you save this?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm afraid I didn't save the last one, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to.
I'm Linnell. I
You're
was,
welcome.